Hello everyone, and welcome to the Missouri School Boards Association's Board Report for the month of September. We thank you for the opportunity to share some news and information during a few minutes of your board meeting. We begin with a look at the defeat of House Bill 253, the harmful tax cut bill that would have cut state revenues significantly and jeopardized funding for our schools for many years to come. A vote on the bill by the Missouri House on September 11th fell 15 votes short of the number needed to override the governor's veto. It's a major victory for public education in our state. MSBA Executive Director Dr. Carter Ward says much of the credit for the defeat of the bill goes to MSBA members.
I can't really remember an issue where we had as broad participation and involvement statewide as we have had on this issue. And I think people realize the significance of it, the magnitude. If this piece of legislation were to in fact be implemented, it would have been devastating for public education and the funding of public education. So consequently, I take my hat off to our members and our boards and superintendents who work so diligently on this issue.
MSBA played a leadership role in the Coalition for Missouri's Future, a group of more than 40 organizations that came together to ensure the harmful tax cut bill did not become law. MSBA organized an event in Jefferson City on the day of the override attempt. Members who attended the event were invited to Governor Nixon's office in the Capitol, where he thanked them for their efforts to prevent House Bill 253 from becoming law. And he challenged them to maintain their commitment to public education.
If you take $800 million out of this budget and you cut education by half of that, we cannot provide a good opportunity for our kids to compete in a world economy in the future. We just cannot. We have drawn an appropriate line here, and a line we're going to win on, not just because everybody here has worked or because your governor's gone around the state and worked, but much more importantly than that, and much more fulfilling than that, is this state loves and respects people that take public education as a career. Across this state, board members give up of their time to serve their communities because they want to make their schools better. There's nobody in this room that will leave here today and say, what I'm going to do is go home and make sure for all of my time and involvement in public education that we stay exactly the same. Our charge when we leave here is to continue to work with the same level of passion and same level of continuity and commitment to drive our agenda forward, to make sure that our kids get the funding they need, the support they need, the services they need.
Legislative leaders and other supporters of state tax cuts have promised to bring the issue before the General Assembly again during its 2014 session. Meanwhile, the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education has released the first set of annual performance reports for Missouri schools based on the latest accountability system known as MSIP-5. The APR reports show how well each school and school district is meeting the state's education standards. The reports will be used to review and accredit school districts throughout the state. School districts scoring 90% or above will be accredited with distinction. Those scoring between 70% and 90% will be fully accredited. Those scoring between 50 and 70% will be provisionally accredited, and those scoring below 50% will be unaccredited. Accreditation decisions based on MSIP-5 will not occur until 2015. While support for our public schools remains strong with most Americans, according to this year's Phi Delta Kappa Gallup poll of the public's attitudes toward public education. A majority of Americans give their own local schools a grade of A or B, the highest rating in the history of the annual poll. But they give public education in general a grade of C. Other findings show the vast majority of Americans believes their children are safe at school. They express great trust and confidence in public school teachers and principals, and the vast majority also opposes allowing children to attend private schools at public expense. MSBA's Delegate Assembly will be meeting on Friday, October 4th at the Lake of the Ozarks to vote on the association's legislative resolutions that will provide guidance for our advocacy efforts during the coming year. One of the new resolutions for consideration urges the General Assembly to clarify the law regarding the transfer of students from unaccredited to accredited districts and to provide state funding for the costs associated with the transfers, including tuition and transportation. Another proposed resolution supports limits on campaign contributions to candidates. Be sure your board is represented at the Delegate Assembly Every MSBA member school board is entitled to at least one voting delegate, and that member does not have to be your board's designated MSBA delegate. There's still time to register for the 2013 MSBA Annual Conference in cooperation with the Missouri Association of School Administrators. This is the largest annual gathering of education leaders in the state. It's scheduled for October 3rd through 6th at the Lake of the Ozarks. We have another outstanding lineup of keynote speakers along with more than 100 breakout sessions, all designed to improve the leadership skills of board members and superintendents. Check the MSBA website for registration details. That's it for this month's edition of the MSBA Board Report. Thanks for allowing us to have some time at your board meeting, and so long from Columbia.